Most people think heart attacks just happen out of the blue. One minute you're fine, the next you're in an ambulance, but what if that idea is completely wrong and dangerously misleading? In truth, heart attacks after age 65 aren't sudden at all. They're silent consequences of daily choices we've made or ignored for years. And that's why this message matters. In the United States, millions of older adults are living with hidden heart risks they don't even realize. Not because they're reckless, but because no one ever told them that small repeated habits, like sitting too long, skipping hydration, or pushing aside stress, are slowly wearing down their heart from the inside. This video isn't about scaring you. It's about empowering you, because there's something no one talks about enough. The incredible impact of one small change, done consistently. It could be as simple as making a short walk part of your morning, cutting back just a pinch of salt at lunch, or pausing in the afternoon to check your blood pressure. These don't sound revolutionary, but for your heart, they can be the turning point. Not tomorrow, not next month. Now, the danger for many seniors isn't lack of care, it's lack of awareness. After 65, your heart becomes more sensitive to what you put into your body, how much you move, and how well you rest. If you've been told it's just part of getting older, you've been misled. Aging isn't the problem. Inaction is. And the best part, you don't need an overhaul. You just need one habit, just one, that becomes your anchor. That's what we're focusing on today. So, whether you're in your late 60s, early 70s, or you're looking out for someone you love, stay with us, because the choice to take back control of your heart isn't complicated, and it's never too late. Let's get into the habit that could change everything. A heart attack after age 65 rarely starts with chest pain. It often starts quietly, building over months or even years, until one day, everything stops. And yet most seniors in America still believe heart attacks strike suddenly, without warning. This belief is not only misleading, it's dangerous. Because in reality, the aging heart doesn't fail overnight. It fails slowly, as the body undergoes physiological shifts that most people don't notice. After 65, the arteries, the blood vessels that carry life, begin to lose their elasticity. What used to be flexible passageways now stiffen like old rubber bands. This means the heart must pump harder to push blood through them. Over time, that extra strain wears down the heart muscle, increasing the risk of high blood pressure, plaque buildup, and eventually, a blockage. But stiff arteries aren't the only problem. Another invisible change happens inside the blood itself. With age, blood tends to become more concentrated, more thick, especially in those who are chronically dehydrated or inactive. Thicker blood doesn't flow as easily. It moves more slowly, like syrup rather than water. That sluggish flow raises the risk of clots, increases blood pressure, and starves tissues of oxygen. These effects are especially pronounced in older adults living in warmer climates, taking diuretics, or avoiding water due to fear of frequent urination. Now, add one more piece to the puzzle: naturally rising blood pressure. The body's ability to regulate pressure declines with age. Hormonal shifts, vessel stiffness, and years of dietary habits all contribute to this trend. By age 65, many Americans already have prehypertension or hypertension, and most don't even know it. Put these three forces together: stiffened arteries, thicker blood, and rising pressure, and the result is a dangerous internal environment. The heart is no longer working with the support it once had. It's now pushing against resistance from every direction. And perhaps the most frightening part of all this, most people feel nothing while this is happening. According to the CDC, over 70% of heart attacks in seniors are considered silent. That means no sharp chest pain, no collapse, no Hollywood-style drama. Just a quiet shift, light fatigue, a little dizziness, maybe a shortness of breath when climbing stairs. Subtle signs that are easy to brush off or blame on age. Until one day, the signs stop. and so does the heart. A report from the American Heart Association found that nearly 1 in 4 older adults in the U.S. had underlying cardiovascular disease they didn't know about. These weren't rare cases. These were regular people, living independently, feeling fine, until they weren't. The tragedy isn't just the heart attack itself. It's that in most cases the warning signs were there all along. They just didn't look like danger. What's more, many of the core causes, like blood thickness and vessel stiffness, aren't things doctors can fix with surgery. They're rooted in daily habits, built slowly over time. And the good news, that's also where the solution lies. One habit, just one, practiced consistently, can directly improve all 3 of these core risk factors. It can help blood stay fluid and flowing. It can ease the strain on the heart. It can support the arteries in staying more supple and responsive. It's not a secret technique or a cutting-edge therapy. In fact, it's so simple, so accessible, that it's often dismissed as too basic to matter. And that's precisely the problem. In trying to find complex answers, most people overlook the one thing their heart needs most. This habit doesn't require prescriptions. It doesn't require wealth or access. It's something almost everyone can do, starting today, right at home. But despite how easy it is, most seniors skip it, not because they don't care, but because no one ever told them how powerful it truly is. So, what is this habit? What's the small daily action that could help thin the blood, relax the vessels, and lower the pressure without any pills or procedures? That answer is coming. But first, it's important to understand exactly why this habit works, and how skipping it might be the quiet reason so many hearts simply stop. 4 habits wrap around the hearts of older adults like unseen bands of pressure, slowly squeezing vitality away without ever making a sound. First, not drinking enough water. Water is more than just a thirst quencher. It's the primary component of blood plasma and circulation. As people age, their thirst response weakens, often leading to chronic low hydration. When hydration drops, blood becomes thicker, increasing resistance against the heart's pump. This forces the cardiovascular system to work harder with every beat. Sluggish blood flow also contributes to clot formation, raising the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Many seniors intentionally reduce fluid intake to avoid frequent bathroom visits, unknowingly setting a dangerous trap. Dehydration is a silent, slow killer for the aging heart. Second, prolonged sitting and minimal physical activity. It's common to assume some exercise is enough, but the real culprit lies in extended sedentary behavior. Long drives, binge watching, avoiding movement due to joint pain. This lifestyle quietly erodes cardiovascular health. Sitting causes blood to pool in leg veins, weakening circulation, contributing to clot risk, and allowing inflammatory factors to build up. Regular sedentary habits are also tied to higher LDL cholesterol, insulin resistance, and decreased aerobic capacity. One study found that nearly 70% of a senior's waking hours are spent sitting, a statistic that highlights how leisure activities, like reading or watching TV, can turn into health hazards. Without regular breaks to walk, stretch, or move, the heart and its vessels begin to stiffen, and the risk of dangerous blockages grows. Third, high salt intake and reliance on processed foods. Many convenient packaged meals, frozen dinners, deli meats, canned soups, contain enough sodium to meet or even exceed daily limits in a single sitting. The body's mechanisms for eliminating excess sodium become less efficient with age, and without realizing it, many seniors consume well above recommended thresholds. High sodium intake raises blood volume by making the body retain water, increasing blood pressure, and forcing the heart to pump harder and against greater resistance. Over time, the walls of blood vessels thicken and become less flexible. This chronic stiffness makes the heart's job more strenuous, setting the stage for hypertension, heart attacks, and heart failure. Lastly, chronic stress, often overlooked, yet one of the most damaging factors. Worries about finances, health concerns, family issues, or world events create persistent tension. Long-term stress causes elevated levels of cortisol and adrenaline, hormones tied to the fight-or-flight response. Elevated cortisol increases blood sugar and blood pressure, while weakening the immune system and promoting inflammation throughout the body. Meanwhile, adrenaline spikes heart rate and constricts blood vessels. Over time, this hormonal barrage leaves the heart and vascular system in a near-constant state of alert. The result: chronic inflammation, disrupted sleep, unhealthy eating habits, and a constant internal strain that weakens resilience and accelerates vascular aging. Individually, these habits are serious enough. Combined, they form a perfect storm over years. But because each one seems harmless, skipping a glass of water here, sitting longer there, choosing a fast meal, or worrying more than average, the risk remains hidden. A slight fatigue, an occasional headache or fluid retention might be dismissed as getting old. But such signs should never be ignored. Each small habitual choice chips away at the heart's strength until the body simply can't compensate any longer. And then, one morning, you wake up and everything stops. Data from the CDC shows that more than 70% of heart attacks in seniors occur without warning. A report from the American Heart Association revealed that nearly 1 in 4 older adults in the U.S. had underlying heart disease but never knew until after a heart attack or hospitalization. These are otherwise healthy and active individuals until their heart betrays them. Silent killers are far more dangerous because they don't trigger alarm. The heart weakens behind the scenes, and no X-ray or EKG will predict the exact moment it fails. That's why lifestyle choices matter more than a bulky list of medications. But what if there was a single behavior that could counteract these 4 silent dangers? Imagine something so simple: a daily action that addresses hydration, circulation, vessel flexibility, and stress, all at once. Something easy enough to start at home, but powerful enough to shift the internal balance from degradation to resilience. It sounds too good to be true, yet science confirms it. Not supplements, not intense workouts, not specialized diets, just one habit that most people can do without cost or expert help. And yet, despite its simplicity, the majority of seniors overlook it every single day. So what is this habit? Why hasn't it been promoted louder or recognized as a primary defense against heart disease after 65? Stay tuned, because this one adjustment could be the missing link between vulnerability and vitality. Here it is, the one habit that directly addresses those 4 silent threats to heart health. Daily hydration done the right way. Drinking water is not just a basic necessity after age 65. It's a effort, low-cost intervention with measurable physiological benefits. When hydration is adequate, blood becomes less viscous and flows more freely, lowering strain on the heart. Optimal water intake promotes better circulation, improves blood pressure, and reduces the formation of microclots. In essence, properly hydrating the body supports the hardest working muscle in the human system without medication or gym time required. Several US-based studies underscore how hydration influences cardiovascular risk in older adults. One longitudinal study from the Framingham Heart Study noted that seniors who consistently consumed sufficient water had significantly lower systolic blood pressure by 6 to 8 mmHg over a decade. That may not sound dramatic, but those numbers translate into reduced risk of heart attack and stroke by as much as 15 to 20%. Another trial by the American Medical Association revealed that individuals over 65 who drank close to 8 cups of water daily had nearly 40% fewer hospitalizations related to heart complications compared to peers who fell short. Comparisons are clear when measuring biological markers. When plasma osmolality is high, indicating low hydration, there's a cascade of negative reactions: increased blood viscosity, elevated coagulation factors, and heightened cortisol spikes. Conversely, individuals with normal hydration levels show better heart rate variability, lower levels of C-reactive protein, a marker for inflammation, and healthier cholesterol ratios. These metrics reveal that water habits translate directly into measurable improvements at the cellular level, supporting vessel flexibility, reducing inflammation, and balancing electrolytes, essential for heart muscle function. But it's not just about the quantity of water. Timing and consistency play critical roles. Daily sipping works better than chugging. Starting the morning with a glass of lukewarm water activates circulation, gently signals the body to rehydrate after a night's fast, and supports kidney function. Drinking steadily throughout the day, mid-morning, midday, and before bed, maintains stable volume and keeps blood pressure from spiking when the body is under stress. That steady rhythm is what sustains the benefits. Anecdotal reports from participants in long-term hydration studies regularly mention feeling more energetic, more alert, even sleeping better. Side effects of better circulation and more stable fluid balance. Even when the body is slightly dehydrated, just a 2% loss of body weight in fluids, the heart must work up to twice as hard to maintain adequate circulation. That extra burden is subtle over short periods, but becomes a chronic stressor when years pass with suboptimal hydration. It translates into stronger, sustained beats that wear out heart muscle and exacerbate conditions like atrial fibrillation or ischemic disease. Now imagine two individuals, both internally identical at age 65. One commits to this hydration habit every morning and throughout the day. The other relies on occasional sips, avoiding the bathroom. 10 years later, the first person demonstrates more elastic arteries, lower resting heart rate, better cholesterol, fewer clot markers, and a greater ability to handle physical stress. The second person, though never diagnosed with any condition, begins experiencing more fatigue, stiffer joints, slight memory problems, and eventually a microinfarction that comes without warning. Hydration is a silent ally, but requires correct execution to be effective. It's not just pouring a liter in one sitting. It's about building a sustainable routine that keeps the blood light, the vessels responsive, and the heart operating with less resistance. And that brings us to another important point. While drinking water can dramatically reshape cardiovascular risk, it truly takes effect only when one avoids a very common mistake, a practice that nullifies the benefits. Even if blood is flowing and vessels are working well, the secret is simple, but unlearning it might take a moment. Up next, that overlooked misstep, and the easy fix to make sure hydration actually helps. Drinking water sounds simple enough. Just grab a glass, drink, done. But for many seniors, this routine is full of mistakes that undermine its benefits. First, timing matters. Some wait until later in the day to start hydrating, believing that morning coffee or tea counts. Others gulp down a large amount at once, thinking that catches them up. Unfortunately, both habits reduce effectiveness. Delaying water intake means the body operates dehydrated for hours, forcing the heart to work harder right from the morning. Chugging water at once floods the system temporarily, but does little to maintain steady hydration, and may even lead to water retention or bathroom trips that discourage regular intake. Next, not all liquids are created equal. Herbal tea, soft beverages, and especially diuretic drinks, like caffeinated coffee or strong black tea, actually draw fluid out of cells, negating hydration efforts. Cold water straight from the fridge may feel refreshing, but it can shock the digestive system and slow absorption. Warm or room temperature water, however, is absorbed more readily, supporting circulation gently and consistently. For some seniors with sensitive digestion or older kidneys, the temperature and type of liquid become critical to successful hydration. Volume also plays a huge role. Drinking too little is an obvious misstep, but the opposite problem, gorging, can be just as damaging. Consuming a large volume of water in a short time, especially without electrolytes, can temporarily dilute key minerals, causing dizziness and heart palpitations. It may also overwhelm kidneys, which are less efficient in older adults. The ideal is to spread fluid intake throughout the day, aligned with individual needs, such as body weight, exercise levels, and climate conditions. For someone living in Arizona, needing to water plants under the summer sun, hydration needs will be very different than someone in Seattle during winter. Crafting a personalized hydration routine might sound overly technical, but it only requires simple steps. Start the day with 250 ml of room temperature water before breakfast, followed by sips every hour, especially before, during, and after meals. If there's a walk or activity planned, take in an extra 100 ml beforehand, and after. Mid-afternoon, when energy dips, have another glass, and before bedtime, a final glass helps kidneys process overnight, but avoid it if sleep is disrupted by frequent bathroom visits. This rhythm helps stabilize blood viscosity and pressure throughout the day, supporting steady cardiovascular performance. Of course, there are exceptions. Some medications, like diuretics, may require tweaking timing or volume, ideally in consultation with a health provider. Chronic conditions such as heart failure or kidney disease may also require careful fluid limits. Adjusted seasonally. In northern states, humidity affects how much water is lost versus hydrated. In southern states, sun exposure demands more frequent intake. A one-size-fits-all approach won't work, and that's why customization matters. Now here comes a surprising twist. Combine this well-timed hydration routine with just one small morning habit, and the cardiovascular benefits can double. That added step is so simple and quick, but the impact is profound. In a matter of minutes, it can set the tone for the body's fluid balance all day long. Curious what it is and how to do it easily every morning? Stay tuned, because that's the next reveal, and it's the step where science meets simplicity in a powerful way. After walking through the journey from unconscious choices to deliberate action, it's crystal clear that the power of change doesn't lie in knowing what's harmful. It lies in choosing consistently every day. Many people live unaware that sacrificing a single glass of water, sitting through a 2-hour TV show, or choosing convenience foods may seem insignificant yet erode health over months and years. While knowledge of heart threats is essential, without repetition, the same small act done again and again, it remains unused. So the journey isn't just understanding what's dangerous, it's embracing the simplicity of a routine that can protect the heart over time. What makes this one habit so transformative is its foundation in real physiological shift. With the hydration routine in place, drinking a glass of water upon waking, sipping regularly, and supporting increased activity and kidney work, the cardiovascular system enters a new territory. Blood flows more easily, arteries stay supple, and the pressure the heart must push against lowers. These changes may begin unnoticed, but perform an internal audit after just a week, and metrics like blood pressure, resting pulse, even energy levels and mental clarity often improve. Stick with it for longer, and improvements become steady. Real support for the heart. It's never about one dramatic moment. It's about daily momentum. Here's the challenge that brings awareness to action. Begin a 7-day hydration challenge. Day 1, wake up and drink your first glass before breakfast. Follow the hourly sip plan. Even a few ounces matters. Take an extra 100 ml before and after any activity. In warmer climates or hot summer months, adjust up. End your day with a glass. But adapt if overnight bathroom trips begin to disrupt sleep. Record how you feel after each day. Energy, mood, digestion, sleep, even how stairs or daily tasks feel. Use your phone or a paper tracker. What's visible can be managed. Now, commit to sharing your first day experience in the comments. How did it feel? A burst of clarity, thirst still lingering. Landing on day 4 may be challenging, but that's the point. Patterns are more powerful than pain. If you feel tired, realize your body's adapting to better hydration, not gradually wearing down. Notice if you feel more alert, less fatigued, deeper sleep. Those are signs your heart is thankful. By day 7, reflect: are you climbing stairs with less strain? Feeling calmer? Has your skin or digestion responded? Anyone who completes a week shows something simple can drive real change. More importantly, that change begins within the body, quietly strengthening vessels and lowering pressure, so future incidents are less likely. Those who commit to just one behavior and track it are far more likely to stick with it. And success with this habit becomes the proof that supports new habits. Stand during commercials. Add a morning stretch. Choose fresh fruit instead of packaged snacks. Because every hero's journey begins with one small spark, and it's no different for your heart. In the rhythm of daily sips, consistency becomes power. One glass isn't meaningless. It's a choice. And that choice starts a ripple effect. After 65, the heart's margin for error narrows. Recovering from damage is harder, but prevention is still within reach. The body remembers patterns better than lectures. This week could be the nudge that resets your internal balance. Skip it, and the wear continues. But build on it, and your heart gains silent support that compounds day by day, drop by drop. So here's a simple question. What will you choose? Will you press like, subscribe, and tap the bell to stay connected with evidence-based tips designed for hearts over, because each new video is a step toward gentle strength, not overwhelmed, delivered straight to your inbox. Together, we can build small legacies of heart health. Remember, change isn't about doing all the things, it's about choosing one thing and doing it consistently. This is that thing. If you're ready, start the 7-day hydration plan now. Pour your first glass, breathe in intention, and drink to your heart's future. Drop a "MC" in the comments to show your commitment and encourage others. Then share your experience. Did day 1 feel different? Share the change. Support one another, and if you have questions, ask them. This is your community. It begins with water, but it doesn't end there. Each step you take adds up, and in the course of days, weeks, and months, a life defined by small good choices becomes a life with stronger resilience, deeper energy, and more freedom. That's the promise behind the physics of water and human biology, but it only works if you choose it. One sip today may be the source of strength for tomorrow's heartbeat. Thank you for watching, for committing your attention, and for choosing your heart. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more weekly heart-smart strategies crafted to fit naturally into life. It all starts with this one small decision today.